I'm going to deliver a talk on smart contracts on blockchain. So let's begin. So here's my brief introduction. On the bottom layer are the education foundational institutes I have been associated with. The next layer is of various certification I have pursued. The second layer from top is of various professional organizations I have been volunteering with. And on first, the topmost layer are my employers. I am an active blood donor and I would request you to donate blood. Uh, yes, and recently, 4 days ago, I donated blood for 33rd time, and there was some emergency and I donated blood. So I request everyone to kindly donate blood at least twice a year. Thank you so much for your attention. Let us begin. So apart from these talks, I am an active speaker. I have been delivering various talks on future of jobs, rise of disruptive technologies in crisis management, taming counterfeits using blockchain. I had delivered this talk for various education institutes as well as group of pharmaceutical companies and their consultants. I have also delivered a talk on blockchain for ubiquitous computing at a FTP organized by Ministry of HRD. I'm also a regular speaker on technology trends. This is my annual talk. Every year, I deliver a talk at around 9 institutes every year since last 4 years. And last but not the least, we all know various types of virtual reality. To address all types of virtual reality, I have coined a word called XR, and that is where I have been delivering a talk for students as well as professionals. So this is our today's agenda. We'll start with what is a contract, a basic refresh. We all know what a contract is. Then we will go to and revisit what is a smart contract. We will get to know the basics, what are the differences between traditional contract and the smart contract. Then afterwards, we will go through the benefits and what are the various types of smart contracts. How a smart contract looks like, and then afterwards we discuss various programming languages and platforms. Next, I would take you through a couple of use cases. Then I have a set of slide which would help you to start your journey in smart contracts. Next, we discuss challenges, and then at the end we will have a feedback. So this is going to be the agenda for the day. Let's begin. So what is a traditional contract? As if we are discussing this in a virtual medium, I don't have a chance to hear various answers, and also I've actually written all the options and answers myself. So it is basically a legally binding agreement signed between two or more individual and parties or companies, or vice versa. It is usually a contract is done for buying, selling, leasing, renting, any goods, services, investment, insurance, or even employment. A third party is needed to draft and execute the contract. So, as in, we want to purchase a house, the builder of the house and the customer will get into agreement. They will hire a lawyer, and then it will get registered in the office of registrar. So that is where the traditional contracts work. As and when there are multi-party contracts, so think of a business scenario wherein you are going to have a project of 10,000 crores, and there is a telecom network expansion wherein around 18 to 20 vendors are participating, and then apart from their business interests, you have to protect your business interests. So as and when number of parties increase in the contract or value increases in the contract, the complexity of the contract multiplies. And last but not the least, at the end of the entire execution, the settlement can be delayed. So it can be perception driven, as we see that, okay, fine, I don't think the contract is true, or I don't think I have received due services. I'm not going to sign the bill, and then ultimately the entire execution of the contract gets into a jeopardy. So that is where smart contracts comes in place. Smart contracts are a self-executing contract. So I just say that execution is perception driven, and this is where these piece of codes are self-executing contracts, where entire description, the terms are written directly on a script, and then this piece of code is put on the blockchain. As and when there is due condition arises, this contract gets executed automatically. On the first point, I have a definition. We are a student community, so definitely we are used to study the formal definitions. I have included definition from Chamber of Digital Commerce for your reference. After our talk, I would be sharing this presentation with Professor Rawat. As if all of you have registered, you would have shared your email ID, and you would get an email either from Professor Rawat or his team members, and the link would continue uh, reference to this presentation. So you can go online and then have a look at the presentation. So let us, when we start studying smart contract, and then as in when we start our formal study, we need to remember Nick Szabo. Nick Szabo is the father of smart contracts. In year 1997, he delivered a paper wherein he compared various technologies like automated vending machine and payment, and then delivery of such concept, and that is where he introduced a word to concept of smart contract, and these are the building blocks of our current digital markets. I have also included the profile page of Nick Szabo in the link given at the bottom of this slide. So as and when you get this presentation, you can go through the author page of Nick Szabo. So let us go through what is the difference between a traditional contract and a smart contract. So time for execution. A traditional contract usually takes 1 to 3 days for execution. You will shortlist a lawyer. You will explain him what is the requirement. He will draft it, and then afterwards he will put his draft text to both the parties. Both the parties need to agree, and then afterwards sign in front of witnesses, and then the agreement gets executed or registered. Instead of I mean, in case of smart contracts, it just takes a couple of minutes. If we talk of remittance, of a traditional contract is manual, where remittance of a smart contract is automatic. Need of a escrow account. So in traditional contracts, we need to have a escrow account, where in case of smart contract, you don't need to have a escrow account. As far as cost is concerned, getting a traditional contract is costly affair. It is expensive. In comparison to a traditional contract, getting a smart contract done is very affordable, because it doesn't require I mean, I would say the layers of activities which are involved into a traditional contract. Next one is signature. You need physical presence to sign an agreement, a contract. You need a wet signature. When I say wet signature, it means that you need to physically go there and sign it with ink. Wherein in case of smart contract, you can use a digital signature and then sign it from anywhere in the world. Next one is third party resources. So for a traditional contract, you need lawyers and people to execute this traditional contract, wherein In case of smart contracts, yes, you need lawyers, but a lawyer can serve entire firm of 20 programmers, and these 20 programmers can handle various customers. So in case of smart contract, you need programmers, not many lawyers. Next one is counterfeit. Duplication of a traditional contract is very easy. You can forge, and then someone can claim, hey, I have signed or I have not signed this piece of paper. Wherein in case of smart contracts, it is impossible because it is powered by digital signature, and once this digital signature is put on blockchain, it cannot be altered ever. So this is the difference between a traditional contract versus smart contract. Let us go through the benefits of smart contract. These contracts are known for its speed in execution, as well as they are autonomous. Once they are configured on blockchain, you don't need any human intervention to trigger the execution. Next benefit is accuracy of transaction. So if the script is good, then the smart contract gets executed up to the perfection. These contracts are event driven. So in case of I would say a goods contract, as and when 100 laptops get delivered to warehouse of company X, the payment would get transferred to the vendor. So that's as simple as that. You don't need to process any physical receipt, and then afterwards someone sitting in some office somewhere would actually do some due diligence. 4 or 5 people traditionally would try to have a look at the invoice and then process the invoice, and then afterwards the payment gets processed. So that is where this is one of the benefits for in case of smart contracts. It has negligible risk of manipulation. There are very fewer intermediaries. The cost of implementation is very low. It is very secure. Once the smart contract is put on a blockchain, you cannot alter it. It is because the blockchain by architecture is immutable. Apart from these benefits, last but not the least, smart contract also enables new business models. So when I say this, there are a couple of examples. So one of the examples I would say that right now most of you are buying 2 GB per day of data from your telecom service provider, and many of you are not exhausting the daily data limit. So when I say this, let us say 2 GB, and you may be using 1 GB per day or 1.5 GB per day, and that 500 MB of data gets unused, and that is where smart contract enables you to trade this unused data with people in need at your preferred price. So you can not only monetize your unused capacity, but you can also make money. You can also share it with the people in need. Apart from this, there are other use cases. Various state governments have allowed to have solar panel on our rooftop. So with a two-way meter, you can actually have a measure of what energy you are pulling from the grid and what energy you are pumping it back into the grid. So if you have excess balance in your virtual wallet, in that scenario, and if you are driving an electric vehicle, let's say I'm driving an electric scooter, and if I am going in some other area and I need to recharge my scooter, or I'm traveling to some different city on an electric car, and then I need to recharge my electric car on highway. In that scenario, I can use the excess or energy which I have saved in my digital wallet and then make a payment. So these are the use cases. I also have a different use cases section which I will take you through at a later point. So how smart contracts works? Let us have a visual representation. So input to smart contract can be a transaction reference, transaction value, or an event trigger. So let us assume this pink box is a big blockchain network. On a blockchain network, there would be a node, and within the node, a smart contract would be sitting there. This smart contract will have a logic, which is the programming part of it, as well as the state of the smart contract. How many times this smart contract has been executed, whether it is valid, not valid, because at times smart contracts would be valid for certain period. It may be valid for certain execution even, that this would be executed at once only. As I said that, okay, fine, as and when there is 100 laptops are supplied to the warehouse of a company, then this contract would get executed. But there may be a scenario wherein 10 laptops would get delivered for some other, under some other purchase order number. So that is where the state has got a reference of the relevant smart contract. So we are just passing the value and trigger to the smart contract along with the contract reference. The contract, being a piece of code, processes that information and gets us the result in form of either value or trigger along with the settlement reference number. This gets further connected to various legacy systems like CRMs or any other customer website or any dashboards. And this is how a smart contract script looks like. So these smart contracts can be encoded on any blockchain, but I prefer and recommend Ethereum as one of the most suitable platform for smart contract, just for the reason because it gives us unlimited processing capability. You can know more about Ethereum on a link given below in this slide. You can visit ethereum.org and take more, browse through more information about smart contract. So these are various types of smart contracts. The first one is digital value exchange. And on the right side, on the right, on the boxes given in the right side, I have referred various example, various scenarios. So think of a simple money transfer between two individuals. Person A needs to send money to person B. At that point of time, you can sign a digital value exchange type of smart contract. The next type of smart contract is smart right and obligation. So this is where the digital content can be monetized. When I say this, you would have seen various video on demand services, or you would have seen, I would say, book subscription, wherein you can read the book for certain value and then book would vanish. There are other examples like if you would like to subscribe to a movie, then you would get to watch this movie for once. Next type of smart contract is a basic smart contract. So this kind of contract is also used to couple of to couple the transaction along with the hardware to certain scenario, like set-top box gets locked as and when there is no balance. So to execute such a given scenario, you need basic types of smart contract. Then comes multi-party smart contract. So person A gives contract to person B to construct home, and then takes money from person C to construct the home. So the entire if then else but gets executed in a smart contract. The person will get money as and when, money from person C as and when the person B starts constructing home. So based on the progress, the money would get disbursed, and that is how you can get such a scenario. Construction linked EMI or construction linked money disbursement can be programmed onto a multi-party smart contract. Next one is distributed autonomous business unit program, type of smart contract. So this is when a person A issues bond to person B, or corporate A issues bonds to corporate B to raise money. And then once the money is raised, in a traditional environment, you don't have visibility that what is happening to my investment, how am I getting profit. So if you have a distributed autonomous business unit contract, you would be having a transparent sharing of profit. Next one is distributed autonomous organization. So these type of contracts are mainly used for sharing royalty for artists. In a traditional environment, the artists who are singing or writing songs, do not get their right due of royalty. So this is where this type of contract comes in place. Every time the song is played, a trigger gets executed, and that is where the right value of that revenue would get distributed to the artist. Next use case scenario is blockchain based voting. Blockchain can be used to conduct elections. So as and when the voting time is over, the entire transaction gets recorded, and within next 5 minutes we can get the result announced for the entire election. The next type of smart contract is distributed autonomous government. These are the last two types of contracts are mainly futuristic contracts. As in when so I would say that distributed autonomous government is something that as in when we would get ruled by machine consensus. So the entire process or entire transaction would be captured by machines and it would get executed by machines. So when I say this, let me narrate a futuristic scenario wherein you are driving a car and you have skipped a traffic signal. The edge compute unit sitting on the traffic signal would capture your vehicle registration number plate. It would capture who is driving this vehicle. It will use facial recognition system to identify that who is the driver, send the data to the RTO and police in parallel. Police will calculate what kind of balance find is there. RTO will check the authenticity of the vehicle number plate as well as the driver. Both of them would share their feedback, and then the municipal corporation or the local traffic police unit, the edge unit, it would process the entire I would say fine, and then put up a request to the bank of the that driver, and automatically the fine would get deducted from the bank account. So by the time the person crosses the signal, he would realize that okay, fine, I have just paid fine for 500 rupees. So that is the kind of futuristic scenario.
ईयरफोन कहाँ पे रखे थे आपको पता है?
Sorry? Hello?
I think someone has unmuted himself. Sorry for this one, sir.
That's right.
Please
That's
continue.
right.
Yeah.
Now let us visit the programming language being used for smart contract. So Solidity in Ethereum virtual machine, Pack, Liquidity, Golang, Mandala, Julia, and then JavaScript, C++, Java, and SQL. These are the programming languages being used to draft smart contracts. I recommend you to study Solidity as well as Pact. Next slide gets us the list of various smart contract platforms and blockchains. So once this code is or the agreement is drafted, where do you put the piece of that code for on which kind of blockchain? So this is the list of various blockchains where in you can put in a smart contract. Here I would like to say that Rootstock was world's first smart contract platform. Rest of the guys have come later, but Rootstock was the first smart contract platform of the world. Ethereum is one of the most popular smart contract platform these days. So this is the global smart contract market growth forecast. They are growing at a CAGR of 32%, and by 2023 they are expected to reach $500 million value. So the source of information has also been included in this presentation. You can visit the link and refer to the source. Now let us go through various use cases wherein smart contract can be implemented. So these are kind of futuristic use cases. These are not found in our concurrent environment. So you would feel that there may be certain gap in your understanding and in my speech as well. But let us assume that there is a smart contract which gets executed wherein you will be able to use your jet miles to travel in an Uber cab. So in current scenario, various companies, various corporations are using rewards and loyalty program within their company. Now, think of a company or a smart contract provider which would help you monetize this beyond the individual corporation. So if you have been visiting Starbucks frequently, then based on your Starbucks points, you can actually buy additional data from Geo, or you can buy a book from Amazon, and that is how the advanced next level of rewards and loyalty program would be driven using smart contracts. I have also included couple of startups who are using smart contracts to drive such advancements like Kibi, Loyal, and ConChain. As and when you get some time, you can visit Google and then visit their website. The next use case is for digital rights management. So basically, the people who are generating their IPR in music or in art or making a video, making a movie, or delivering speech at some seminar, sharing their research, all these guys are vulnerable because a lot of piracy is going on. Apart from this piracy, acts of piracy, I would say that there is a ongoing conflict between the artists and the music companies, wherein artists claim that they don't get the rightful dues because they don't have visibility to what kind of business is being conducted by music companies. So that is where companies like Sony, Edition Guard, Poet have come forward, started using smart contracts for digital rights management, and they have started establishing a scenario wherein a music writer, a music artist, or a songwriter gets their due royalty every time a song gets played on their platform. So these are the kind of next generation use cases. Next one is on land registry. Right now, we all of us have physical documents for our properties, land, apartment, and shop, whatever it is. But now is the time to have our land registry information in digital form. Unlike we have our shares in demonetized form, this is the time when we would have our information about our properties in digital form. And that is where smart contracts and blockchain would come in place. The startups I have studied a Roar Network, Apla, and Propi. So I would recommend you to visit these startups. Next one is trade finance. As in when there is a cross-border trade and the goods needs to be supplied from one country to other country, these goods will also pass through certain different international ports as well as different countries. In a given scenario, the documentation and execution of this contract gets really complex, as well as because it is spread into multiple geography, the execution of this contract gets delayed. When I say this, I mean you are sending something from Hyderabad to Houston, then it would go via various ports. There would be different authorities who would be checking the contract, and then finally, by the time the goods reach Houston, the entire process, again setting up an escrow account and execution of the completion, would be again a complex scenario. This entire process can be automated using a smart contract. SKU Chain is a company which is leading into this space, and they are enabling smart contracts in trade finance space. Next one is insurance. So one of the project I have actively worked is for micro insurance. So you would have seen that recently, if you have traveled in Ola, they would be asking for insurance for 50 paisa. So you can insure your trip of 20 minutes and then take benefit of all the insurance. So this is where micro insurance or sachet insurance comes in place. So The entire sales cycle is automated, linked along with the sale. The policy, as unlike any other traditional policy sale, gets recorded on the CRM of the insurance provider. You get the insurance policy number as well as the copy of the insurance, uh, along with the order execution in the near real time, and then you are actually insuring your trip of 20 minutes for 5 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees. And you can also insure your air travel. So these are the kind of new business models which are coming up in insurance space. Etherisk is a company which is introducing smart contracts in this segment. Next one is trading of stocks. Trading of stocks is in today's time is being conducted using digital platforms. So by using smart contracts, you can efficiently trade stocks as well as other assets. AWM is the name of the startup which is active into this space. You can view their website. Next one is smart grid infrastructure, next generation distributed smart grids. This is one of my favorite use case. You can install solar panel on your home, at your farm, and on your office, and then you can start generating power. This power gets deposited back into the grid, and then your account gets credit of energy which is being generated by you. Apart from generating energy, you can also provide space for storing energy. So you can have battery banks installed at your warehouse which would store energy which is in excess, and then as and when the grid operator needs they can pull it back from those battery banks and supply it to nearby areas. So this is how the next generation electricity grid would operate in. And smart contracts will actually enable trade of electricity at any given point of time, at any given point of place, at any given point of tariff also. So if you have generated higher level of electricity, higher number of units, and if there is a high demand, and if electricity company is willing to pay you 10 rupees a unit, you can actually automate this entire scenario and say, as and when the uh, electricity company starts buying electricity at 10 rupees a unit, please sell 25 units. So this is how you can even automate this scenario, purchase and sale of energy units using smart contracts. Next one is event driven triggers. So when I say this, let us say that okay, you want to automate trading of shares. So when I say this, you can say that okay, as and when share price of a certain company hits 100 rupees, you need to buy 100 shares, and as and when it reaches 110 rupees, you need to sell all this 100 shares, and that is how you make profit. You just automate the scenario, and then machine keeps on executing based on your instructions. Next one is insurance. So trigger driven insurance use cases we have just discussed, wherein I gave example of insuring your Ola trip. Next one is enterprise action. So your employee attendance system can be connected with payroll system, and as and when if any employee who has attended office on all days, his salary would get processed automatically without any human intervention. So these are the kind of event driven triggers which can be programmed on a smart contract, and it can be put on a blockchain. Next one comes is smart services. We already have a lot of smart devices in our homes, be it Alexa, be it Google Home, or even Cortana. So these are the smart devices which are enabling various home automations. Smart contract can be connected to these smart devices to offer smart services. So as and when if your water purifier needs any service, it would trigger uh, an alert to your home automation system, and then home automation system would check whether you have subscribed to AMC of the water purifier company or not. If yes, then it would automatically start raise a ticket to the water purifier company. The entire process can get automated. So these kind of smart services can be programmed on Open Ledger. I recommend you go through Open Ledger and learn more. Next one is syndicated loans. So as and when you want to, I would say, take a loan of certain money, and then the bank is also taking money from various institutions. So bank can automate this entire transactions on smart contract, that if we are lending 100 CR to a company, then from where this 100 CR is coming, what interest we are paying, what interest we are earning as a commission, and then how this loan gets recovered. This entire syndication can be automated. So that is where Finastra is a leading player. They are actively developing such kind of contracts which can be easily deployed by financial institutions and banks. There are other use cases. All of us are fans of various hackathons. So Poliswarm is a company which is a threat intelligence marketplace. So you can go to Poliswarm and say that, okay, fine, whomsoever breaks into our system would get a prize of 1 lakh rupees, and that is where you can offer a smart contract. The hackers, the ethical hackers, can try to break into your system, and if any hacker is successful, you would automatically get prize money of 1 lakh rupees. So that is how these smart contracts are also being used in innovative ways. Next one is cancer research and clinical trials. So it happens that the R&D is undertaken in a country, but then the pharma companies need to test and try the new medicine into different geographies like India, Africa, Australia, Japan, China, Europe, and US. So different markets would have different results. But as and when this activity is given to a third party, there may be a possibility that some stakeholder with a malicious intention can hide certain information. So that is where these smart contracts come in place, and then you would get a fair result and maintain the trust. Apart from this, there are other use cases for car wallet. So right now, if you are driving a vehicle, you don't have all the information about your servicing, what kind of spares have been replaced, how many times the car has been serviced, how many times car has met with accident. All such informations aren't available. So putting all this information on a car wallet is something which is a new use case which is being examined, and that is where the sale of the car also can be done using a smart contract. Last but not the least, for sharing multiple gigabits of file, you need to ensure that there is a secure transfer between two locations, between your data center and the target location. So that is where for sharing file in a more secure environment, smart contracts are being used. Let us see which are the sectors, industry sectors, which are leading adoption of smart contracts. Supply chain, BFSI, mobile operators, music industry, digital identity, rights management, rewards and loyalty programs, real estate, energy sector. Governments are using smart contract for land registry, gaming, gambling, human resources for payroll services, drones. Now drones would get connected with a smart contract. Let me take you through the scenario. Let us assume that Amazon would start drone delivery. There would be various drones operated by different players. Half of the fleet would be owned by Amazon, half of the fleet may be owned by various players for delivery of Amazon packages. In this scenario, A smart contract can document the entire transaction. It gets, encoded on the drone, the CRM of the drone player, and then the entire chain from farm to fork can be traced using drones and smart contracts on blockchain. Smart contracts is also a useful medium as in when machines would start talking to each other. So that is the M2M communication. So entire M2M communication can be put on smart contracts, and then we can control the way machines have to behave as and when they are required to act in a coordinated way. Last but not the least, auto insurance we have already discussed. So here is a book list of 7 books I would recommend you to go through. These books are not so costly, so you can go through these books on Amazon. All of these books are available on Amazon. You can pick and choose a book of your choice and then start your learning journey on smart contract at time of your choice. So smart contract is very good. Smart contract can benefit us. Smart contract are speedy. Smart contract are accurate. Smart contract does not require any intermediator. And but all these goods are good things are there. But why we don't see smart contracts around us as yet? So there are challenges. There are different factors which are limiting adoption of smart contract. So first one is limited adoption. I myself cannot execute a smart contract unless party B also agrees to put our understanding on a smart contract. The next one is privacy concerns. Because the entire contract is visible, transparent, as in when it is put on blockchain, anyone can go through, browse it, and then understand what kind of understanding uh, these two parties have. In our traditional Indian environment, we don't prefer to disclose our contracts with a third party. So that is where it's a human factor. Immutability, as in when you need to reuse this contract, or you want higher number of trades to be documented in a single contract, then smart contract is not the right medium. It has got a limited space for storing scripts. So in a given scenario, you would have to connect multiple blocks to store these scripts. Next one is availability of skilled coders. We don't have plenty of coders available in market. So if you are expert of solidity or liquidity, you would get a really good job in the blockchain domain. Then high cost of maintenance of distributed network. Not every city has got a distributed network available, so the reach and extent is also a challenge. Other one is cross-border compliance and governance issues. So not only within India, but think of a smart contract wherein you would cross the borders of nations. So these international businesses need to be really complex, and then there would be governance and taxation related issues. So these are the factors which are limiting adoption of smart contracts. That's about it. I conclude my speech here. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I can take questions now. So I would stop sharing my screen and I would request Professor Rawat to take over and moderate the session. Thank you so much. You have been a great audience.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, sorry. So thank you very
sir.
much for thank you very much for your session.
Thank you,
And I
sir.
know that
Thank
there
you,
were many
sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Rao sir and sir, Anita Bose.
Yeah, I request everyone to be in a mute mode now. We still have a question answer session, and very this one, like after this we are going to share the feedback session feedback form. So I request Deepika ma'am to share the feedback link, and only those who are going to respond to this feedback link, the certificate will be issued to them. So it's very important and I hope that you have enjoyed the session. And I know that many people wanted to join, and there were some technical issue, I guess, and that's why many people they could not join at the right time. And we are open for the question answer round. So if you have any questions, we can take the question. Yeah.
Hello,
Good
sir.
evening, sir.
Sir, I'm Shweta Gupta. I just wanted to know, for developing an application using a smart contract, what path of skills, like, is it necessary that I should, learn Solidity?
Yeah,
And
you can
even
learn.
if I,
If you are a Java expert, if you are a SQL expert, also you can program a smart contract.
but since like if Ethereum is supporting only Solidity, we can still or it means like other languages also is comfortable. We can develop in Ethereum.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I would prefer Ethereum because of their wide reach in the geography.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
you shouldn't pick up a player who has got a limited presence.
Okay, good evening, sir. Service this side.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
Sir, you are talking about the smart contract. In the traditional contract, a third party involved in between twos. But in the blockchain technology, who have the authority if any miscommunication will happen, and who are the responsible for any of the transaction?
So, so that so it would be the service provider who would actually take care of these concerns. So there in future you would have a smart contract company as well. So a lawyer may actually open up a smart contract company.
A lawyer.
Yeah, because see, you need. I mean, I'm just giving an example. It can be an entrepreneur also who would hire a lawyer as well as a couple of coders, right?
Okay. Okay. One more question is how we define Bitcoin in the terms of blockchain? What is the difference between Bitcoin and blockchain?
But it's just a use case of blockchain. Digital identity is one more use case. Smart contract is another use case. It is just that Bitcoin, because of the hype of trade and then quick money, Bitcoin got popular.
So India can adopt blockchain technology?
Yes, definitely. Our government has got a policy. So Niti Aayog has got a policy for encouraging adoption of blockchain.
So is there any type of blockchain where identity is not required?
Identity is required in all blockchain.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir. Myself Yadaya.
Yeah, good evening.
Can we use this blockchain technology for removal of the corruption in India, sir? Means if suppose no one is revealing the details like what properties they have and everything and all. Used by adapting of this blockchain, can we predict that
I would
one,
say
sir? Can
adoption of smart contract would definitely reduce the number of intermediaries. So that is where it may benefit, but this may not be the ultimate solution to fight corruption. I hope you are getting my point.
sir, sure, sir. And one more thing, sir. I want to become a smart contractor developer. What are the basic things, sir? May I know that one, sir? What are the basic things the developer should be strong in that?
So first one is I recommend you to learn Solidity.
Sir?
You should learn Solidity.
Okay, sir.
And to start with, you can browse couple of videos on YouTube and then go through those introduction part of Solidity, and then formally purchase. I mean, I have given a list of books in my presentation. Go through these books on Amazon and then pick up a book of your choice and start learning.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And your session was very informative, sir. Really, I was very thankful to you, sir. Really, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, yes, sir.
I'll
Sir,
be
good evening,
sharing
sir.
this
This is
presentation.
Anil from. Good evening, sir. This is Anil from MLR Institute of Technology.
Yes.
And
Hi.
I want to know the difference between proof of work and proof of stake. And one thing in Ethereum, already I read one thing. The proof of work is defining as proof of state or it is converting as proof of stake.
So I didn't get I didn't get your question. If you can just
Okay,
load it
sir.
once
Okay.
again.
What is the difference between proof of work and proof of state?
Okay, so if you, I would request if you can, in the interest of time and audience, if you can park this question to Professor Rawat, and then I would try to give you a written explanation. So, does it meet that? Because
Sure, sir. Thank you.
it is a theoretical question what you are asking,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then I shouldn't be
Yeah.
wasting everyone's time over here. Maybe it would take
Yeah.
5
Thank you,
minutes
sir.
for me to
Sure, sir. Thank
take
you.
it through, right?
Thank you, Anil sir. So please write, maybe you can write a mail to me or meet Mr. Chantanoja, and definitely we'll get back to you, sir. Yeah.
I'll share my views on this.
Yes, sir.
But this being a kind of technical question, I wouldn't like to block everyone's time here.
Yeah.
Sir,
So do you have any other questions?
Sir, I had a question. Like, for developing smart contract means okay, blockchain is like a technology that is really helping in financial and all the sectors. But I wanted to know in terms of research, how could we, like suppose I'm doing research in blockchain. So basically, I don't find like what kind of parameters that I represent that research would be helpful in further. What parameters that I should take for showing my research results.
So the use, I mean, any research is doesn't have any worth unless until it gets connected with the business or it solves a problem.
Okay.
Right.
But like if suppose if I talk about the elections, you have talked about the financial
Also
sectors like for
think of
mortgaging.
a service. Think of a service on blockchain. It could help you conduct elections for your college or for a cooperative society. Right. As an election, it doesn't mean that it is a Lok Sabha election.
Yeah, but again, the security parameters are the most important features that blockchain is
Yes,
actually
yes,
providing.
definitely.
So the research in terms of research, we can only show the case studies. I think how would we show, because blockchain is itself an implementation. What I have
No,
understood,
you can
like
develop a pilot, right? So you can think
okay,
of a use case and then develop a pilot and
mm-hmm.
demonstrate such results,
Okay,
right? And that is where you can connect your research with a minimum viable product and then offer it to the industry.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So I think we'll close the session by proposing a vote of thanks. So now I request Deepika ma'am to propose a vote of thanks. Deepika ma'am.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. I is Deepika, Assistant Professor from Department of CSE, Anurag University. I'm honored and lucky to have the opportunity to give a vote of thanks on this special day. I particularly liked Mr. Chintan's session where he mentioned the need for the smart contracts for blockchain in this webinar. The way in which he explained the subject was extraordinary. I would like to thank Mr. Sandeep Rawat sir for organizing this wonderful webinar. I would like to thank our HOD and Deputy Director, Mr. G. Vishnumurthy sir, for encouraging to conduct this webinar. I would like to thank our Dean CSIT, Mr. Vijay Kumar sir, and our Director, Mr. K.S. Rao sir, for participating and encouraging this event. I must not forget to thank the organizing team and faculty members who contributed to organize this webinar until the last day of the week. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants for participating in this webinar. I would like to thank you once again for making this event successful. Thank you, everyone. The feedback form has been shared in the Google Meet chat, which is available for another 15 to 20 minutes. After filling the form, kindly check for the certificate in your registered email IDs. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And
Thank you, everyone.
with this, we are concluding the session. And thank you, Chintan sir, and thank you
so much,
everyone for this great participation. And I hope you will fill the feedback form for our future events. And
Chintan sir will ping you after this, after closing this session.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir. Yeah. We'll share the feedback form. Ma'am, can you share the feedback form again? Some of the participant. Oh, okay. I'm just copying. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. And we are also going to have a series of, I think we missed one thing here. We are hosting a series of webinars. So I think if you are also interested, we'll be sending the details to your email ID, registered email IDs. So we are going to have a series of webinars in the different areas of computer science related technologies. And next session is on 29th, where Aninda Bose is from the speaker, is going to talk about research ethics. He's going to talk about publishing papers and various aspects of research publishing. So I hope to see you there as well.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks, Professor Murthy, Professor Rawat, and all faculty members. Thank you so much. I look forward to keep in touch. Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir. Thank you. So we still have almost 49 people. So thank you, Dr. Ashish. Yeah. Thank you, Satvik. Thank you, Sarvesh Kumar.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Ankita. Thank you, Chandni. Thank you, Madhavi. Thank you, Ravinder Nayak. So, thank you, Jagdishwar. Yeah.